Heyo, it's OmniDog with OmniDog's Vault. How's it going, OmniDogs and OmniKittens? I'm here with the collected editions, the essential collected editions for February of 2020. These are the books that I think you should be looking out for. This is completely subjective. These are the books that I think you should be looking out for. So the book that you are really looking out for, and I don't say it, it's not because I don't like it. It may be because I haven't read it or never even heard of it. These are the books that I'm familiar with that I think you guys would like to read. So I'm just saying it's subjective. This is not a guide to what all's being released in February. Other people do that. This is targeted towards my suggestions as to what's interesting reading in February of 2020. And it includes books from the big two. It includes books from Image and Dark Horse and some other publishers. So I've increased the spectrum of what I'm recommending. And I've got a couple of what I think are called sleeper hits. I think they have the potential to be really interesting, and you may or may not have heard of them if you don't collect singles, like I don't collect singles. And this is the first time that I've heard of these books, and they sound really interesting. And so I hope that I can bring them to you, and you might be interested in them. So without further ado, let me share my screen, and we will get started. And there's my dog. Isn't she cute? Oh, her name's Holly. She's so cute. Okay. I forget why I put that in there. Probably just to goof around. But look how cute she is. Okay. Agents of Atlas. This one's by Greg Pak. It also said it was by Jeff Parker, but I think Greg Pak is taking it over. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger. If it stays. Yeah, that looks good. Agents of Atlas, complete collection by Jeff Parker, volume 1. I read last year and was fantastic. This is issues 1 through 5 of Greg Pak's run, and I've heard good things about it. So that might be something you are interested in. And this is one of my sleeper hits, Black Badge by Matt Kindt. I have the first volume, and it reads, Meet the Black Badges, a top-secret branch of Boy Scouts tasked by the government to take on covert missions that no adult ever could. Among their organization, the Black Badges are the elite, the best of the best. The missions they're tasked with are dangerous and will only get worse as their leader's attention is split between their objective and tracking down a lost team member. This is Matt Kindt. I love Matt Kindt. This is from Boom Studios. This is volume 3, by the way. You may want, if you're not already reading it, you may want to check out volume 1. I'm going to be doing a review of it this week. But keep Black Badge on your radar because it is Matt Kindt, and I think he's great. And this is Die from Image trade paperback number 2 from Kieran Gillan. I read the first one. It's about people who create a board game and get sucked into that board game like a full-on Dungeons and Dragons scenario. And if you're a board gamer or play games at all, you will dig this book. I am not a board gamer. I enjoyed this book, but I gave it to a friend, Maddie, who does play board games. But the art is really good. And if you like board games or adventure, this book is something you might want to think about. I'm afraid this might be the last trade of Giant Days. If you haven't been reading Giant Days, you're missing one of the best books out there. I think this is from Boom. Why didn't I write that down? I could leave right now and find out who it's by. It's by a smaller publisher. I feel like it's from Boom. This is about a group of college students in England and their adventures. This is an extremely heartfelt, wonderful book. And this is volume 12. And I feel like it's the last volume because Giant Days has said it's been ending. And I think that floppies have already ended. So I think this is the last one. So you owe it to yourself. If you haven't read it, this is volume 12. You should probably check out volume 1 of Giant Days. But if you are a big fan and you wanted to know when volume 12 was coming out, February 5th. I forgot to say, this is all February 5th that I'm talking about. All February 5th right now. And this is Harleen with a special cover, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Stepan Sedgwick. I love his art. I love Sunstone. He's doing Harley as she starts out as Harleen Quinzel going to Arkham Asylum. I believe it's a retelling of the origin story. So she goes to Arkham Asylum and starts treating the Joker. The first printing is going to have a special cover. First of all, it's going to have great art, and I think he's proven to be a really good writer. But there's going to be a special cover on this one where she takes off her mask and is full-on Harley Quinn. I don't know if you can see there, like there's a little break right there. She takes her mask off and she's full Harley Quinn underneath. I've been really looking forward to this book. I've heard great things about it, and I'm very excited about it. That's February 5th. Our next book is James Bond 007 by Warren Ellis, Omnibus. That's by Dynamite, and I haven't read this yet, but friends of mine who have say it's fantastic. First of all, it's Warren Ellis. Second of all, it's James Bond. I'm in. So I just have to read the books myself, but here's a chance to get all the books in an omnibus format. James Bond 007 by Warren Ellis. I think you should definitely consider that. And the last book for February 5th is X-Men the 12 Omnibus. X-Men versus Apocalypse, the 12 Omnibus. I have been on a run with X-Men where I'm trying to read as much as I can. It can be hard. There's, 50 years worth of books, and there's 50 omnibuses, it seems like, that are full of the X-Men. If you're an X-Men completist or an X-Men fan, this is probably a book for you. I will probably get it. I'm sure Omar will shame me into getting it from near mint condition. So that is the last one on February 5th. And we move on to February 12th of 2020. The Daredevil by Bendis and Malieve, Omnibus number 2. This is considered one of the best Daredevil runs ever. This has been out of print forever, and it's amazing that it's back in print. If you have volume 1, you got to get volume 2. I'm going to be doing a whole series on this Daredevil and Brubaker's Daredevil on Crime Corner in March. So keep your eye out for this. This is going to be a great book for you to get. And the next one I picked because it's been out of print for so long in the Marvel Premiere Classic form. And this is a trade paperback. This is Hulk, The End, and Future Imperfect. 2 stories that are considered 2 of Peter David's best Hulk stories ever. And you can read them separately from any Hulk. It doesn't have to have any, it's not part of anything. You can read it separately, and it's awesome. I actually read this, one of the few Hulk books I've actually read. It's great. And it's in print in trade paperback, which is great because this has been hard to find in hardcover. So consider Peter David's Hulk, The End, and Future Imperfect. That is February 12th. Then a book I know Taylor Brown's been waiting for, and a lot of you have been waiting for, Spider-Man, Miles Morales Omnibus by Bendis, Volume 2. So this brings Bendis's run to a close. This will be the conclusion to the omnibus that came out last year. No, wait, last year was 2019. I think it came out in 2018. Not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure it did. And hopefully this one doesn't have the binding problems that the first Miles Morales omnibus did. So this is a book that a lot of you are going to want and get excited about. And this next book is one that was one of the first books I ever read coming into Marvel as a wee comic lad of 10 years ago or so, I guess. The Ultimates by Mark Millar and Brian Hitch. I love this omnibus. This was a great book, great art, great story, one of Millar's best. I think it's amazing, and I highly recommend this book. This is one of the books that I read coming into Marvel that got me acquainted with Marvel 10 years ago or however long ago it was. And this is a reprint because it's been out of print and hard to find. So definitely consider this because this is a really good book, and I'm excited it's back in reprint so other people can read it. The Ultimates Omnibus. And that's it for February 12th. Here's another sleeper one for February 19th. Now, you may or may not have heard of this. I hadn't heard of it, but the premise got me. First of all, it's Jeff Lemire, so I'm in. I don't care about anything. If Jeff Lemire's writing it, I am in. And Berserker Unbound is about a sword and sorcery type guy who, through a wormhole, gets deposited in the modern day. As you can see there on the cover, there's a warrior standing in traffic. An evil wizard follows him and tries to hurt those around him that he's made friends with, I guess. I don't know a thing about this book. I just know the description, but it sounds boss. And if it sounds like sort of a previously used trope, it's Jeff Lemire. He's going to have a take on it that makes it interesting and unusual and different than other things. So definitely keep your eye out for Berserker Unbound. Let's see. That is the 19th of February. Let's see. We have Doom Patrol by John Byrne Omnibus coming out. I'll be honest with you. I know nothing about this book, but a lot of people like John Byrne. A lot of people like Doom Patrol. Here it is. I may or may not read this. I'm going to have to find out more about it, but I wanted to make sure you knew it was on the radar for February 19th, because this, depending on what I read, this may be something I get. I really have to admit I'm a fan of the Silver Age Doom Patrol, but this may be great. I actually don't know, but I'm putting it out there so you guys know that it's out there on February 19th. And then here's another sleeper hit that I'm going to get. Manor Black. First of all, this is gothic horror fantasy about a family of sorcerers in crisis. Okay, I'm in. And it's written by Cullen Bunn. I'm way in. I love Cullen Bunn as a horror writer, and this sounds really interesting. I'm definitely going to be getting this. And that is the last book for February 19th. And February is a pretty light month. So we just have a couple more for the last week in February. And whoops, I didn't mean to raise that up, but this is for those of you that like Batman and the Maxx. Arkham Dreams, Batman and the Maxx team up to solve some problem in Arkham Asylum. I'm putting this out there for those of you who love the Maxx and who love Sam Keith and love Batman. This is all by Sam Keith, written by Sam Keith, drawn by Sam Keith. I don't know anything about the Maxx. I have to admit, he was a character I didn't collect back in the 90s, but I like Sam Keith a lot. So I am putting this out there so you guys know that it's available February 26th. That is the last week of February. And here's a book that everybody loves. I can blow this way up. There we go. Berzerk, Deluxe Edition, Volume 4. Those of you out there who like Berzerk, you're going to be excited because here is Volume 4. I read Berzerk #1. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'm going to continue on with Berzerk. It's cool that these are deluxe editions, and they're very, I will be the first to say, they are beautiful. So, you Berserkers out there, it's coming out February 26th. And this next one is something that I haven't read. It is Tales from the Dark Multiverse hardcover. It's by Snyder and a variety of other writers. It's a series of one-shots dealing with the multiverse that has been created, the universe that contains Batman Who Laughs and all those other creatures that came from the multiverse, the hole that's been ripped in the source wall. I definitely am getting this because I personally like the Dark Multiverse. Those of you who don't, totally get it. You don't have to buy this at all, but I am going to because I think it sounds really cool. So that is Tales of the Dark Multiverse hardcover, a collection of one-shots. And then the last book we're going to be talking about is Gail Simone's Wonder Woman, Omnibus. Gail Simone's awesome. Wonder Woman's awesome. I don't see anything that's going to hold me back from getting this. It's Gail Simone. I mean, come on. And it's Wonder Woman. So there we go. That's coming out February 26th of 2020. So that is it for the books that are the essential collected editions for you to look out for in February of 2020. Thank you for tuning in. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. I respond to all comments, and I always appreciate them. Everybody's been very nice about my videos and sends me nice comments, so I always like that. So thanks for tuning in, and peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you.